This video clip will familiarize you with the All Finishes surface template and the included newly implemented surface schedule parameters. We will use an office interior for our demonstration. Activate the All Finishes schedule list from the navigator. Here you can find the list of all surfaces of the project. The columns of the list are as follows. Name. This is the name of the surfaces. Exposed area, which means the surface that you would be able to see and touch in the realized model environment. This is generally considered as exposed. Color sample, which means the color of the surface. Color, red, green, blue, numbers. Paint, which means how the surface differs from the building materials. Hatching, the column of vectorial hatching. Let's click the Scheme Settings button and open its dialog. As you can see, the criteria panel lists all types of the 3D elements. The Fields panel consists of different parameters. You can find the surface name first. The next one is the exposed area. The three-dot button to the right of this field name brings up the Reduce Exposed Area dialog box. Here we can define and list the elements which are considered covering the surfaces. At the head of the list sits the 05 Plans Detailed Layer Combination. By this criterion, only those elements which are elements of the visible layers of this combination will be considered as cover. At the end of the row stands the AND. That makes an additional condition. You'll notice that the elements in brackets are in separate rows, and there are OR keywords among them. This means that only those elements which have, for example, wall, or column, or beam for element type, and that have their layers open in the 05 Plans Detailed Layer Combination, will count as cover due to the Reduce Exposed Area. As the object type is not included here, these elements will not cover even if their layers are open in this layer combination. Other parameters are surface color RGB, surface differs from building materials, and vectorial hatching name. Let's click the Add button now. The Available Parameters dialog appears. As you can see, the above-mentioned parameters were added from the Surface Parameter group. Finally, close the panels. Let's see an example now of where the floorboard surface gets listed from. Select its row and click the Select in 3D icon. Now the actual element is selected in the 3D model. Open the options, Element Attributes, Composites, to open the composite of this slab element. As you can see, the upper skin of the slab is timber floor material. Click OK to close the dialog. Open the options, Element Attributes, Building Materials now. You will notice that the timber floor uses floorboard surface just as we saw on the list. Close the dialog now. Open the options, Element Attributes, Surfaces this time. Select the floorboard 01 surface and click on the color of it. The Edit Color dialog opens where we can edit the color of the actual surface, and these settings will appear in the list. On the Vectorial Hatching panel, you can find the Plank Floor Fill type, which figures on the list. Let's go back to the All Finishes schedule now and see in detail the meaning of checked or unchecked boxes in the Paint column. Please note that the Paint Alizarin Carmine row is checked now. Select this row, and by clicking the Select in 3D button, make the related wall selected in 3D. Open the settings of this wall. Here you can see that the inside surface of this wall was overridden and set for alizarin carmine. If we override any surface of a wall with another building material, this will be checked in the Paint row of the surface list.